What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Liddell.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw All Get Stark Squad.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Mowry.
I'm Victor Henry.
Boy, Bulletproof Trooper.
Joey Stark.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, C.W. Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Hyper Street.
I'm Luis Moreno.
This is Mr. Classic.
I'm Jason Poulet.
The young ghost. It's old Howdy Price here.
When I say what's my name, tonight.
Richie Slade. My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
The incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship Online.
Podcast.
This is Alex Mars here. Hi, Richard Modest.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later, love that dinners.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're now watching and listening to Championship on the Line podcast. If you're new to the channel, my name is Alex, and today we have a very, very special episode here. Today we have a professional MMA fighter in the house, a mixed martial artist. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. You know me, I'm a huge MMA fan, so again, I'm so excited that this gentleman is joining. He has a big fight. I'm talking a big fight here. It would be on May 19th, ladies and gentlemen, as it would be at the Tagline Complex in Los Angeles, California, as he goes for the Smash MMA Global Flyweight Championship, ladies and gentlemen. We got the man himself, Aaron Farge, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm so excited again for this fight. Again, this is for the title. It's a really big fight. Again, I can't wait. This is so cool. But before we get that started, we have a segment that we like to do before we start the interviews. It's called Favorites. So we ask 10 questions about yourself. Is that cool? We do that with you?
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. So let's start with the first question. What is your favorite movie of all time?
That's a good one. I mean, mine would have to be Keanu Reeves with the Presidents, and then when he was Surfer, Breaking Point.
Okay, got it. That's a good one. Yeah, that's actually a really good one. Yeah, Keanu is such a good actor too. All his movies he does is pretty good.
Yes, he's one of my favorites. So
awesome. And then also, since favorite movie, but in your opinion, what would be your favorite like martial arts movie of all time?
Martial arts, huh? That's an interesting question. For me, it would have to be. Let's see. That's a tough one, actually. I'm not too sure. You know, I know there's some good boxing ones out there. You know, I'm not too sure.
No worries, man. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. It's hard to pick.
It's tough to narrow it down, but yeah, it's hard to say actually, because there's a couple that come to mind, but I'm not quite sure which one's like the best one. So.
Okay, cool. No worries. With the second one, what would be your favorite TV show of all time?
Mine's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I grew up, you know, I actually do like comedy, and it was just a good growing up. I feel like a lot of, you know, it had a lot of life like lessons in the TV show, so that was always cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's such a great show, and it's funny too. But also, like you said, there's cool lessons that are brought into it, which was always cool. But what would be your favorite character in the show, or favorite moment even?
Character, you know, I liked like everyone's character. I know Carlton and Will Smith at the time was very, you know, they're all good actors, you know, even his Uncle Phil. So
yeah.
I liked a lot of them. So like a lot of funny episodes and different things like that. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Good, great choice on that one. With the next one, what would be your favorite band, or do you have a favorite music artist you like to listen to?
Favorite music artist? I'm kind of like I like all different types of genres. I like hip hop, definitely old school hip hop. I like some rock. I like even some you know music with like Spanish. I guess it's called like reggaeton music. But uh, I'd have to say that's I grew up listening to like Tupac. Like old school hip hop, Nas, um, Biggie, stuff like that.
Okay, cool, cool. You have a favorite song of all time?
Uh Tupac. I like All Eyes on Me. I
Okay.
like some country songs too. I like a little bit of everything. So
All right, nice, nice. There's some people like, no, man, I just stick to one genre and that's it. But yours is like all over the place, which is good. Variety. Awesome. So what is your favorite meal you like to eat?
favorite meal, I eat pretty healthy for the most part. So if like in between something I like to eat and something that's pretty healthy is, personally, I like lasagna or pasta.
Okay. All right, cool.
So,
What about when is there a cheat day in your week that you like to do?
yeah, I like a good hamburger. And,
Okay.
I like sushi as well. So I definitely like a good sushi roll. I know there's
Okay.
different ones. Yeah, I like to just eat stuff like that.
All right, cool. Nice, nice. And the next question, I don't know if you're a gamer, but if you are, what is your favorite video game of all time?
That's funny. I was talking actually with one of my friends today, and he was telling me a little bit how, he plays Xbox and Halo sometimes. But for me, I'm kind of a sports guy, so I personally like FIFA.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
yeah, I like the FIFA games or just the different teams and FIFA. I would say is my main or Madden, but definitely FIFA is my number one.
Oh, nice, nice. Awesome, awesome. Same thing too, man. I always like the sports games. It's like people talk about
Yeah.
like the Call of Duty or whatever. I'm just like, nah, man, either FIFA or like NBA, whatever. Like the sport games are the ones I like.
Right. Because you can always play somebody. It's fun. You could do that with other games, but FIFA is like,
Yeah,
it's always
it
gets
was good.
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And with the next question, talking about sports and everything, what is your favorite sports team, if you have one?
Oh, for sure, any LA team. I'm a big Rams.
Okay.
Obviously, the Rams fan actually, and and Dodgers, I would say. And actually grew up a Lakers fan as well. So definitely any of those teams. My favorite, obviously, Rams Super Bowl champions. Dodgers are looking good this year, so it's going to be an exciting year for the Dodgers.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Especially with Freddie Freeman being in their team now. So absolutely. Awesome. Uh outside of MMA or outside of training, do you have like a hobby you like to do?
Yeah, I like to be outdoors, hiking or at the
Hmm,
beach.
nice.
So I've got hikes where I'm at, and then I'm not too far from the beach as well. So those are my two go-tos. And believe it or not, I just love to train. So when I'm not doing those things or out with friends doing something fun, I'm just training. So
Okay, cool. Nice, man. Love it. Awesome. And then with the next question, before every fight, do you have a ritual that you like to do before getting in that cage?
not really. For me, I just always like to just train hard, be prepared. I don't have too many rituals. I have actually been competing a long time, so I just, for me, it's just like it's another day at the office, really.
Okay, cool, man. Awesome. Love it. And then with the last fun question, if you could have a match, like if you could have a fight, right, with
Yeah,
someone that is any fighter, so it could be a celebrity, it could be an athlete, it could be anyone you want it to be,
yeah.
who would it be?
It's funny because I had this conversation. I have a friend. He's actually a DJ,
Oh,
So,
okay.
but he likes to box. He likes boxing and stuff. So we always talk. He always talks to me about like if I were to box someone, who would I match up against? So I don't know. For me personally, I don't really look into it like that. But I don't know, because I'm kind of a small, I fight at 126, 125, 126, so I'm a flyweight, so it's tough for me. I don't really know. I don't really know. That's another good question, but there's a lot of yeah, that's a funny one. I actually don't know. There's not one that really stands out to me.
Okay. No worries, man. Awesome. But again, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man. Really excited to have you on the pod. And again, so much to talk about, especially with the fight. But again, we'll get to that a little bit later. But I want to talk about the beginning side of your martial arts journey. So take me back, the beginning, what got you to martial arts? Like, how did you get introduced into martial arts?
So it's kind of like when I get asked this question, it's kind of interesting because I had, can you hear me?
Yes, but I
Hello?
can't, I can't see you. Oh, there you go. We're good.
There you go. Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing because, I had an uncle that was a wrestling coach for a very long time. So I was around wrestling since, I could remember, to be honest. And, I started wrestling, but like the first MMA fight that I saw was when I was like about 11 years old. And then wrestling started picking up, and obviously Pride was around then too. So UFC, Pride were like the two biggest organizations. They actually used to just come on TV. And so I saw that wrestling started picking up. And then not till I got older, about like 19, I had a college wrestling coach who was the grappling coach at an MMA gym. And that's where I really started to be involved in like training camps and guys that were fighting, for local or regional championships. Or, I remember he would have there like Dominic Cruz, Phil Davis, Brandon. Some of these guys would come up and train. And like, to me, I didn't really think of it anything. I was just training. I enjoyed it. I knew it's something I wanted to do. Like I said, the first time I saw MMA, I was 11. And so it just everything just came together. It wasn't really like, hey, this exact moment, it was more like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm. And then also, like, talking about, you said your uncle being a coach and kind of grew up into wrestling. Was there times that he brought you in the gym and just trained with the wrestlers, or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. He would my uncle, he would take me to the tournaments actually with him. So I would like go watch him because he would coach, and this is before, phones even had cameras and social media, anything like that. So you would actually have to go to a tournament and go watch and scout anybody that you're going to wrestle against. So he would take me with him and he would like quiz me like, hey, what is this move? What is that move? What's the score? So it was like something that was great to me young, it was like pay attention to detail and just little things like that. And then he would take me to go wrestle some of the best guys in the state when I was, younger, and I'd wrestle the best guys in the state in junior high school. And so it was, I've been competing against some really good competitors for a long time.
That's awesome, man. And then talking about, what made you want to do it? Like, what made you fall in love with it? Was it just like the athleticism of it, or was it, anything else? What made you want to be in it?
So I think when you're young, you're young. You're just like, man, I want to do that. But it's like for me, I also boxed for a really long time as well. So as a teenager, I started boxing in the gym like consistently. Like I'll talk about every day. I was in there every summer, despite wrestling as well. So like, obviously wrestling, you have a competitive nature. It teaches you so much. But then boxing, like really blended it for me, and it really like how to really fight, the sweet science of boxing. But putting it all together, this is what I knew. This is when like it really started taking off for me. It's like this is what I want to do. This is like I love to just get in there and mix it up.
And saying, and coming from, you said, from a wrestling background and doing boxing, what was it like, getting to throw your first punches and getting hit with punches? Like, what was that whole experience for you doing that for the first time?
That's when I fell in love with it, actually. You fall in love with it, you realize, because unfortunately this time, I'm really grateful that I found boxing because it taught me how to fight, how to hit, how to not get hit. And then, but also, it teaches you like just the whole it brings it full circle. I feel like, you know, you see guys that just come from a singular martial arts background and they have a hard time now because the sport has evolved, you know? So, but the main thing, I feel like boxing is a very important foundation along with wrestling. So wrestling is more like on the ground. It teaches you how to score takedowns. Boxing teaches you, you know, hands up, chin down, you know, how to move your feet, you know, it's sweet science. So yeah, boxing is what really showed me, you know, hey, this is what I truly love to do. I love this.
Awesome, man. I love it. And you know, and mentioning, you said watching, like you said, UFC in the Pride at, you know, age 11. You know, do you remember the fights for the first time that you watched?
Yeah, there was a couple of them. There was a couple of them that I watched. So the first one was UFC was Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell, and then obviously some of the Pride fights. So the Pride fights, I mean, this was like Dan Henderson days. This was like, you know, Fedor, like there's just a long list of guys, you know, I'm sure you've heard. But, you know, it's
actually
funny
got a Fedor
because
shirt right now. Nice.
You know, and to just add on to that is like, it's funny because Tito was training one day. This was like about 5 years ago now. And I ran into him and I told him about this, like, hey, Tito, you know, the first fight I ever saw was like, you know, you fighting for the UFC title. And it was just so awesome to me. And he was just like, you know, I didn't know what to expect, but he gave me some great advice that day. He just said, hey, you know, I did it because I enjoyed it. You know, I truly loved doing it. And then I remember we both forgot our mouthpieces in our bags, so we had to go to our car. So we kind of walked out at the same time. I had a you know, a Honda, and he had a Rolls Royce Phantom. And I remember we were getting our bags right, and our doors are open. I grabbed my bag. He said, "Hey, come here." And he said, look inside my car, and there was stars. You know, and he's like, you know, you know, you work hard in MMA, and you know, you stay committed, you can get something like this. And I was like, man, that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, man. That's so cool, especially him to have the time to talk to you and give you some advice and then show you, you know, oh, that's pretty cool, man. And especially, you know, he's a legend of sport, you know, so definitely getting some advice from him is pretty cool.
He really is. He was, you know, the first pay-per-view star in the US.
Absolutely, man. And you know, world champion, you know, Hall of Famer. So definitely.
Yep.
But also getting the chance to, you know, was there ever time that you got to train with some elite fighters, some high level fighters that you get to train with? Because you mentioned it in the past. You said, you know, with Cruz. Was there anyone else or seminars even that you got to participate?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've just been around so many fighters, a handful. I've sparred some of them, and just, you know, actually just recently, you know, I took a trip out to Arizona to visit a friend of mine. He was a college teammate of mine. He's UFC veteran, you know, Hunter Adjir. And, you know, there's so many fighters there at Fight Ready in Arizona. Like, you know, Yuri, he's fighting for the 205 title, was just there taking the grappling classes with us, taking the MMA classes. You know, obviously Cejudo was there. He had his coaching hat on and just helping us through some drills. And, you know, it was just, I think over time you run into some of these guys and they're just regular guys, you know, they're just like you and I. So they just happen to like MMA and train, you know.
That's cool, man. And it was like especially in your career and your journey so far, what's been like the best advice that you've been given so far?
That's a good question. It's I'm just trying to think of like the one that stands out the most. But for me, I think it's more like patience. You know, I think if I could just it's not necessarily one person or what they told me, it's just over time in a lump sum. I think it's just patience. You see like almost like a very young generation coming up in MMA now, and they don't realize that this stuff takes time. Like I've been boxing since I was a teenager. I've been wrestling since I was a kid. And I've been doing this for, you know, just nearly 20 years, literally starting from wrestling and then boxing and like putting it all together now. So it's like some of these younger generation, I'm talking like early 20s, or they just want to rush things in the sport. It's patience. You know, you look at the current champions at the highest level, they're 30 years old, mid-30s. They have families, so I think it's just being patient and we'll continue to work hard in the process.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think it's really good advice. And yeah, it's true. Even like, because like I'm a huge fan of MMA and also boxing, but even boxing side of it, you got these young kids that want to turn pro, and it's like start with your basics, dude, and then do amateurs and then turn pro. And there's a lot of people just want to turn pro and make the money, and it's like it's not easy like that, you know. You got to take time and do it right.
Exactly. Yep.
And especially, you know, I want to talk about especially, you know, getting to do MMA. You know, what was it like making your debut? Because correct me if I'm wrong, what was your first fight was that Gladiator Challenge, and what was it like to go out there for the cage for the first time and to fight for an audience and be in the fight? Like, what was that whole experience like for you?
Well, for me, like I said, I have a lot of competition experience, and two, I was looking forward to it. You know, it was like finally for me, it was like finally this is, you know, I get to do what I love, and I you know, to be honest, my pro debut was like the only fight where, you know, even some of my amateur fights, guys had more fights than me, or they came out of a bigger gym, and it's like finally out of someone that was, you know, he was making his debut as well. So it was just more like getting the journey started for me. I was more excited about it than anything, and that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. And you finished it pretty early, so that must have been awesome getting the win in a minute.
Yeah. It's you know, obviously I trained hard, and you know, was excited about the fight, so came out and got the finish.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, going over, you know, especially during training, and even was there any guys like you like to watch, any fighters like, you know, fan favorites for you that you like to watch, or guys kind of like emulate their style? Is there anyone that kind of you get inspiration from?
Right now, I think past, to be honest, and present, I would just say guys I get inspiration from, and guys where my style kind of matches up as well. It was like, for me growing up, like, there's Nick Diaz. I was a big Nick Diaz guy, you know. The guy fought UFC Strikeforce champion. He fought in Pride, so WC champion. So the guy was literally one of, you know, him and GSP, George St. Pierre. So the guy those guys were like, they were the first generation to be good at multiple things. So, you know, like Nick Diaz was good at boxing, black belt in jiu-jitsu. GSP was like, you know, kind of just beat everybody, like a really good wrestler, beat the really good strikers, beat the really good jiu-jitsu guys like BJ Penn and some of these other guys that were, you know, really good at a certain martial art, but those guys were good at more than one. So, and I think currently I would say, you know, just recently, like Usman and Covington, both those guys are very good, both good grapplers, good, you know, well-rounded fighters. So those guys have been fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely, man. Definitely agree. And how much, and even if today, like how much, you know, even with the UFC and Bellator, how much fighting do you watch today? This is something that you like to watch or you keep up with?
Yes, yes, to a certain extent. I mean, I know guys that watch fights all the time and they're constantly watching, but for me, I just like to watch specific matchups. You know, I like to watch, you know, like obviously like Covington versus Masvidal recently, like it was a striker versus a good wrestler, and it was like, you know, a good wrestler with some good hands, and then, you know, Masvidal was training with some good wrestlers. So it was stuff like this, like certain matchups I like to see. But other than that, I mean, there's not really like certain fighters that I watch, more like stylistically, like good matchups. Like I would love to see Cejudo and Volkanovski. That's another great matchup as well. So.
Oh yeah, same here, man. I think it'll be such a really great fight, especially with Volkanovski's last fight too. He looked really good against Zombie. Hopefully, that fight will see what happens. Who do you think? You just get a prediction. If they fought, who do you think will win that fight?
You know, I have to give it to Tito. The man. It's crazy to me that the MMA community or world doesn't really give him the respect he truly deserves. I mean, the man was the youngest Olympic champion, and wrestling alone was already a great feat. You know, when he won it, and then he's the only guy to win 2 belts and defend both. You know, so it's. I mean, the guy's literally made history, and people just don't give him his just due. You know, they're still counting him out even against a Volkanovski fight, which Volkanovski is a great fighter as well. But it's like, man, you got to give it to Cejudo. You got to at least give him some type of opportunity to win in this fight. He's definitely capable of winning. So
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, man, hopefully it happens, man, because that'd be fun to watch for sure. But talking about, with fights and big fights, like yourself, you have a big fight coming up on May 19th, and you're fighting for the Smash title, the Smash Flyweight Championship. How do you feel about going into this fight, and how you feeling?
I feel great. This is probably one of the best camps. I've added a strength and conditioning coach. This is something I've never had in my, prior I've had it as far as like when I wrestled in college and other things like this. But as far as MMA, it's the first time I've worked with a strength and conditioning coach. I've added, a couple other coaches, jiu-jitsu coach, Matt Salinas. He's awesome. He's worked with several UFC fighters, and some of them you probably know. Carlos Esparza fights in the women's division in the UFC. He's worked with Ian McCall, who, he fought Demetrius Johnson. I believe they had a draw at one time as well. He's worked with more guys as well. So I'm definitely happy to have Matt on my team and be working with Matt. So yeah, I'm excited about training, and it's been great.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, man. That's. I mean, especially with such a big fight too, especially for the title. You got to do a really good training camp. But what you're telling me, man, this seems like you're putting everything into it, hard work into it, and talking about your opponent. I believe it's Razbring. Talk about him.
Yeah.
What do you know about your opponent? And what do you think is gonna take to get a win over him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough competitor. I mean, he's a guy that's fought in different places. He's 3-time veteran in Bellator across 2 divisions, and he's won all those fights 3-0. Coming off a 4-fight win streak, and he's the current B1 MMA champion in Ukraine. So he's definitely a game competitor, which I'm excited about. This is why I'm in the sport. I'm not, some guys just like to fight whoever, crush some cans, but I'm not. I've always competed at a high level, and I believe Raz is a great competitor. He's going to bring great things to the table, and I feel like it's going to help me elevate my game. So I'm excited about that. I think Raz is a good striker. I know as far as one of his Bellator fights, he's talked about being a striker. So, I think that's, his main thing. And also he fights out of Israel. So he's definitely coming from a different country to win.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and especially with him, obviously it's been some talk from him and his coaches and everything about you. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? And do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just something that was brought to my attention. His coach, it was like a birthday wish to him. And it was talking about something like, we're going to LA to kill this guy or something like that. But for me, I've been doing this a while, and I know coaches, they're supposed to say that to their fighter. They're supposed to tell them stuff like that. But, I've said it before, once the cage door closes, it's only me and him. So
yeah, exactly.
Other fighters, their training partners will say stuff. They'll get on social media, or their coach will say stuff. And to me, I think that's all hearsay. It's all, he's supposed to tell his fighter that, but once the cage door closes, it's only him and I. So it's his coach can't fight for him. His girlfriend, his friend. So, it's gonna be me and Raz in there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And how do you see yourself winning this fight, man? If you give me a prediction, how do you see yourself beating him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really looking for a certain type of win. I just think it's definitely going to be one of those fights where, I'm just chip away, and if it's there, I'm going to take it. But if at the same time I'm going to fight a smart fight, I'm going to just pick them apart, I think. So, but I'm definitely there's an opportunity there, I'm gonna take it.
Awesome, man. Absolutely. And, especially, a win will get you, a title and possibly some open doors to maybe some offers from other companies, man. What do you see yourself in the future, man? What companies would you like to sign with in the future or fight for?
Yeah, obviously collecting this belt is going to put me in a great position. And, the UFC definitely needs to add some new blood to the flyweight division.
Yeah.
There's obviously other opportunities too out there. But, I'm going to just take it one fight at a time. In the future, of course, I'd like to be in the biggest organization in the world, but this is a step in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely, man. Again, and I feel like, I believe like a win over this and a nice little title, a nice good title around your waist will get you those doors, man, to get you with the UFC and Bellator, man. And I can't wait for this fight. Again, do you have a final message for the fans out there that are watching this?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody, as far as my coaches, all my supporters, everybody that's helped me get to where I'm at right now. Obviously this is my first MMA flyweight championship right here, but it's definitely, been in the works for a long time. I've been putting in a lot of work with different people and my coaches. So thank you, all my coaches, all my sponsors, Dom Real Estate, for sure, and a couple of of my other sponsors. So I want to thank everybody for supporting me, and thank you as well for bringing me on your show.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, man, for coming on. And again, I'm really excited for this. I know you're gonna do very well, man. I'm already saying, ladies and gentlemen, people listeners, I'm already saying this. I'm predicting he's gonna get the win. He's gonna get the title, and he's gonna move on to big things, man. And I can't wait for this. Again, ladies and gentlemen, May 19th on a Thursday, be at the Tanglewood Complex in Los Angeles as Aaron Farge goes for the title, for the Smash title on May 19th against Raspberry. Not going to want to miss this. Is for this event, anything you would like to promote, anything where they can watch this fight?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a link, I'll definitely post it. It's definitely it's a private event. So it's actually Steve Orozco's the promoter, and it's a lot of just high profile people. But if there is a link and if there's anything that I could have people outside watch it, I'll definitely post it in my bio on social media, and that way people can watch it.
Cool. Awesome, man. And anything you'd like to plug in, any links or social medias where the fans can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. My Instagram is Aaron LA_FARGE1. So if you guys have a social media, go ahead and give me a follow and, follow the journey.
Awesome, man. Again, thank you so much for being on the pod. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll put everything down in the description down below. Do yourself a favor and go follow this man's journey as he's going to go climb all the way to the top. And I cannot wait for this. And again, do yourself a favor and follow. It will be all down in the description down below, all social medias down there. And again, this is Aaron. Thank you so much for being on the pod, man. Really appreciate you taking the time. And also, thank you for everyone else here watching this episode. This has been Championship Online Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.